Hi, I'm Imogen. I make planty content here on YouTube every Friday, and today's video is going to be about the process of air layering my Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma, also known as the mini monstera. If you've seen some of my recent videos, you've probably heard me talk about this plant, which I got for a bargain £15 from a local garden centre. I was originally going to chop this long vine, but I saw a video by Christina or Leafy Luster here on YouTube, and she spoke about air layering, and I thought that would be quite good for this plant as well. I do really love Christina's videos, so definitely check out her YouTube channel if you haven't seen them already, as she spoke about air layering multiple different types of plants. So basically, I followed her instructions at the start of June, and now 2 months later, I think this vine is ready to be cut and planted. So first of all, I have some clips of how I did this. I got some sphagnum moss, about enough to make a decent handful, and soaked that in a bowl of water. I then squeezed it a bit so it wasn't completely dripping wet, but still nice and damp. Then I took a big square of cling film, put my moss on it, and then wrapped it around a node which had a really nice aerial root on it. I wrapped it up really tightly and then secured it with some floristry wire, just because that was what I had to hand, but there might be something better to use. Getting the kind of moss cling film ball around the aerial node wasn't the most easy. I felt like I really could have done with another pair of hands helping me, but I think it worked out okay. In terms of tips, I'd say make sure that your cling film square is bigger than you think you need, because that really helps in getting it in place and nicely wrapped around the stem. But once I got the cling film and moss on there, I didn't really have any issues. I do have some clips of the growth that I saw to start with. So the 20th of June was 2 weeks later, and I saw this chunky, healthy white root coming out of the moss. Then a week after that, I had 3 roots showing through the moss. I filmed this footage at night, so it's not the best, but hopefully you could see how it was coming along. Those are actually the only clips that I filmed. I do wish I'd done more, but I just didn't really think about it. As I mentioned before, it's now been 2 months since I started this air layering process, so here's some footage from today, and it shows that there are loads of roots in there, and I definitely think it's ready to be cut from the main stem and potted up. So first I'm going to take off the wire and then try and separate the roots from the cling film and moss. Then I have this nice clean knife. I think this will be better than scissors, which I'd usually use, just because the vine is quite chunky and I want a nice sharp cut. I'll save this wire to use it again. So here is what the roots look like. They're pretty much the same colour as the sphagnum moss, but hopefully you can see them. And now I'm going to do my best to get them away from the sphagnum moss. As you can see, the sphagnum moss was quite dry, so I did spray quite a bit of it with water. This was just to make it more moist again and easier to separate away from the roots. When it was dry, I was a bit worried about breaking off the roots accidentally, but this was quite an easy fix. And then I made that cut to the vine using the knife. And here is that vine all separated from the mother plant. I've managed to get most of the sphagnum moss off the roots. You can still see there's some bits clinging on, but given I'm going to be planting this into soil, that's not much of an issue. The main aerial root is here, but you can see the kind of more white, I guess, soil roots, or what they will be, have come off that. For the most part, they're looking quite healthy. This one has a little bit of a black tip, but I don't think that's too much of an issue, and it definitely looks ready to be planted. While I had the air layering going on, this vine continued to produce lovely new leaves. I mean, you can see just how long it is here. We've got this leaf, which is still fairly floppy and will probably grow a bit more. This one actually still feels not fully mature yet either. And then we've got this tiny little green one just on the end, and that'll definitely grow more. I don't know if this is as a result of the air layering, but some of the aerial roots have got really quite large up here, whereas there were more sort of nubs at the bottom. I can't say for certain if that is the air layering or it's just happened because it's in a different condition than it was at the garden centre, because I did put on the moss ball quite soon after getting it. What I'm going to do now is wait for this end to callus over just a little bit before planting it up. I just potted it back into the same pot the mother plant was in and then gave it a good water. And here is the plant in its full glory. The tallest vine is the one that I've just propagated, so I'll probably need to do it again soon. I really like air layering as a propagation method. It feels a bit safer because you don't actually need to make any cuts on the plants. So I especially think it could be useful for plants where you don't know if they're going to root or not, because worst comes to worst, you've put a load of moss around the stem and nothing's happened. I haven't tried propagating the Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma in water. I've not heard it's difficult to do, and I don't know if the results would have been better over 2 months than this method, but I might have struggled with such a long vine in a small jar of water, whereas keeping this vine attached to the plant was obviously completely easy. I'll definitely be doing this method again, probably on this same Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma, as I've got quite a few more long vines and I feel more confident about the method as well. But that is going to be it for today's video. As I mentioned at the beginning, definitely check out Christina's channel if you want other planty content. And if you like this video from me, I'd love it if you'd consider subscribing or liking this video. And if you've made it to the end, then thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on Friday for another planty video. Bye!